Welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to throw out a video on chainsaws. Another one of my favorite tools in the shop. Basically anything two-stroke will put a smile on my face, but I love chainsaws. Just something about them. Anyway, I'm going to show you what I got, tell you a little bit about them, and some of the issues I'm running into right now with a few of them, and see if we can't get things moving in the right direction for me. So let's get to it. I'm going to start down here on the bottom row. This is an Echo, older Echo, vintage Echo, 452 VL. Solid chainsaw. I think this one is 45 cc's if I'm not mistaken. I'm having some issues with this one right now. The saw will pop off but will not stay running, so obviously some carb related issues. So that's one of the saws that I need to take care of. These saws, if you don't know anything about Echo, these vintage saws, they're made in Japan. They're solid, just cast, was it magnesium, I think, something like that. But pretty much bulletproof, and when this thing's running, it's just a workhorse. It's pretty crazy. You get your high and low jet up here, and then your idle, and this is actually a screw that screws in and screws out. What else is kind of different about this? Air cleaners on the side. It's not that big of a deal. I think that's about it. So next saw over here is McCulloch Mini Mac 35. This is tiny little saw, really tiny little saw. See the bar on it. I'm not sure what size bar that is, but it's tiny. It's a limbing saw, but you can use it to cut firewood. It's that powerful. It's a solid little saw. I picked this up for free, and the thing looked like it should have gone to the dump, but cleaned it up and got it running. Happy to have it in the lineup. This thing runs like a tank. The only thing I don't like about this saw is on this side right here, it comes with a self-sharpening, and then it's got a little cap that goes on here, and when I got it, it was missing that cap, and they had put duct tape over this whole thing. So what you run into is all your bar oil comes out and gets on the muffler, and it is like a smoke show in the Vietnam War, let me tell you. It's crazy, but I love the sound of this thing. I mean, the thing sounds awesome. So anyway, that's the Mini Mac 35. This is a Stihl 020 AVP. This is given to me by my dad. This thing's a beast of a saw. This is a pro saw. It's more of a limbing saw or an arborist saw, but this thing is super light, tons of power. I love running this saw. Happy to have it in my lineup. Again, these are all older saws mostly. I've only got one newer saw, but I'm trying to think if there's anything kind of different about this. Not really. So, but I love this saw. It's an old Stihl, and they just run. They just do. A lot of these saws that you're going to see, they don't have any safety features on them. This is a saw that I just picked up recently. This is a Stihl MS250C. It's got the easy start, which I was not familiar with, and the guy that I got it from posted it for almost free, the price he had on it, and I was the first one to respond and went down to go pick it up. It had some issues. This is one of the saws I got an issue with. You can fill up the gas on this and it just leaks right out. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that. I cleaned it up, looks good, but the gas just comes right out. It runs well. These easy starts, like I said, I wasn't familiar with these. And if you've never run an easy start before, they feel like very spongy, like there's no compression. Something going on wrong in the recoil system, or the compression was bad or something. And I told the guy, and he didn't really know much about it. And I got home and did some research and found out that that's why it's a easy start system. You really don't feel anything until you get to the bottom of the pull on these. And it's hard to explain. You just have to pull it yourself to feel it. Anyway, that's the Stihl MS250C. This is kind of a farm saw right in the, what is this, 45cc range, I think, something like that. But it's all original. It's got a nice set of dogs back there, a lot better than what the new Stihls are coming out with. And I think that's set up with a 16-inch bar on it. The 020 also has a 16-inch bar. This is a Homelite Super XL automatic. This thing is probably one of my favorite saws that I have. It's like, to me, again, I love two-stroke, but to me this thing sounds like somebody playing a violin. It just sounds that good. And it's all magnesium. It's just old school. It's got brass and copper fittings for the oiling system. I mean, the spark plug protection here is all metal. Let's see if I can get a shot on this side. But that's got a 20-inch bar on it. And that's a, if I get these wrong, forgive me, but I think that's a 58cc saw right there. But this thing's in great shape. Absolutely love this saw. Like I said, probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I just love the saw. Anyway, this is another McCulloch. This is a Pro Max 610. This is another one that I just started having issues with. I popped this thing off just to make sure everything was good, probably a couple, 2-3 weeks ago, and the thing ran great. And I actually went out today to go pop it off and it wouldn't start, which just never happens with this Pro Mac. If you know anything about these Pro Max 610s, they're built like tanks. They look like a tank. They're a heavy saw. They're 60 cc's. You can run a 28-inch bar on these things. They advise you to run skip chain if you're going to do that. But right now, I think I've got a 18-inch bar on this. But I think I'm gonna swap it out for a 28. I've got to get some dogs for it though. It doesn't have any dogs. But anyway, I've got an issue with it getting fuel. It's just not getting any fuel at all. So I don't know if that's. I put new fuel line on this, so I don't think it's the fuel line. It must be the carb. So I got to take that apart and get to looking at it and see what I can find out, because I love this saw. It's McCulloch saws. If you've never run them before, especially the old school McCullochs, they're tough to beat. This is a great saw. I think, is this my most powerful? Yeah, it's my most powerful saw that I got in the shop. This next one I'm going to show you is just right under it. So the next one, I'm working on it right now, is my Poulan. It's a Counter Vibe 3400. Love this saw too. This is a 58cc, running a 20-inch bar. It's got a really nice set of dogs on it. I mean, people, for some reason, they're not real hip on the Poulan, and, you know, especially out here on the West Coast. Still rules the world out here along with Husky. Poulan, I think, is more of an East Coast saw, I guess, but I love this saw. I really do. And this thing just sounds phenomenal. This is, other than the case, I think this case is plastic, but the rest of the saw is all magnesium. The handle's magnesium. Again, this is just an older vintage saw. This is from early 80s, I'd say, right around maybe late 70s, early 80s, 79, 80, 82. Again, a lot of my saws don't have any safety equipment. And if you don't know anything about Poulan had some sort of deal going where they didn't have to put the chain brake up here for a long time, where other companies had to. And I don't know the specifics on that. I just know of that. So anyway, this is, again, 58cc, so this is right up there with the Pro Max 610. So love this saw. Absolutely love this saw. And it's in great shape. I hesitate even telling you what I paid for that, but I'll tell you, $15. Let's move over here. to the table. Let me grab this real quick as I just drop one of my welding magnets into, yeah, my quench tank. Anyway, this is my newest saw that I have in the shop. This is a Stihl MS271 Farm Boss. This thing is a beast of a saw. There's no denying that the new Stihls are just rock solid. I wanted a saw that I could still adjust the carburetor on. I was originally going to get a 261, and if you know anything about Stihl, that's their professional saw, but it was tough finding a straight 261. Everybody has a 261C, which you cannot adjust the carburetor. There's no adjustment for idle. Maybe there is idle, but there's no adjustment for high and low jet. And I'm old school, and I want the adjustment for those. So anyway, I ended up settling on the 271. This is a 50cc saw, I think. Boy, I'm really digging deep into the memory banks on that one, but I think this is a 51cc saw, and obviously this is the most reliable saw I have in the shop. And I bought this one because my 020 went out on me, and that was my sole exclusive chainsaw that I was using. So in comes the MS271, and it's been a great little saw for me. So anyway, that is my herd of saws. And I'm sure there's tons of people out there that have a lot more than I do, and some that may not have as many, but I'm happy to have the, what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that I have. And if I could get that Echo and the Pro Mac and that Poulan over there running, I'd be even happier. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. Just kind of running through the lineup. I'm going to probably go out and run a couple of these for you so you can see them running. But I don't know if I'm going to do that now or later. But that's just a quick introduction to what I have and what I need to do. Thanks again for joining me. I'll see you on the next one.